So in today's video, we're going to go ahead and review a loss on Apple, a loss that I'm going to learn from, a loss that you can learn from watching this video, and we can review the loss and see what could have been done better. There was one key thing that I did not wait for, that I did not have the patience for before entering this position, and this is what led me to take this loss. I think it is extremely crucial in trading, if you want to be successful, to review your losses and understand what you did wrong. Deep dive into the losses and understand what could have you done better, what could have set up better before taking the entry, and that is what I want to do in today's video. So the loss that I took on Apple really does not come down to what happened on the Apple chart. It comes down to what happened here on the NASDAQ and what I did not wait for before taking my short entry on Apple. This is something we're going to talk about in today's video, waiting for these confirmations and waiting for the real trend to start on the overall market before entering your positions. Now, I am human, you are human, and we all know that when that morning bell rings, a little bit of emotion steps in, and it is our job to eliminate that. Now, I can't say that my trade on Apple today was a terrible trade. When I look back at it, I still like the entry that I did take. I believe it was a good entry. But to get continuation on the trade entry, that is where I did not stay patient. I didn't stay patient to see if there would be a continuation move. Can I avoid some morning chop? And that is sort of what happened to me today. Got a little bit chopped around in that morning chop. We do have FOMC tomorrow, so I could have done a little bit better to understand that, but I did get chopped around in Apple early morning, entering a little bit too early, not waiting for that confirmation. And that is what I want to review in today's video, where I entered this play, what I could have waited for on the NASDAQ chart to confirm that confirmation to the downside before entering my play on Apple. So coming into today, guys, on the NASDAQ, I had some really good levels that were very highly respected intraday, but I did not wait for that downside level to break before entering shorts. This is something that I talk a lot about on the live streams. I say, let's wait for this level to break before we enter shorts. Demand could step up here. And I can't lie, I got a little bit anxious off the 200 SMA rejection on the NASDAQ and didn't wait for that downside level to break before entering my short position. So looking at this chart here, you guys can see we had these previous lows from Thursday into Friday around this 12,015 area. That is this area right here, right around 12,015. This is what I'm talking about, right in that circled area. We had that previous low around 12,015, and that is also where that 200 SMA stepped in today. So coming into today, I did not want to be long into that 12,015 level because I figured that there could be a 200 SMA rejection. Now on the flip side, I did not want to be short before a break of the 11,980 to 11,970 area. We had some previous support here, we had some previous support here, we had a previous support here, and a rejection right here around this 11,980, 11,970. And what you can see today, we did get that 200 SMA rejection, but we did not break the 11,980 level, and this is where I got chopped up in the early morning trading. So if I zoom in here on the 1 minute chart, you can see we opened the market, we did bounce off that 11,980 demand, but we started to reject that 200 SMA. This was about 7 minutes after the market opened, and when I saw that 200 SMA start to reject, and when I saw that 12,015 area start to reject, I can't lie, my eyes opened up a little bit. I figured I could try to play something that would reject off the 200 SMA, look for downside continuation, look to see if I could take an entry at the 200 SMA. This is a good risk to reward in my opinion, shorting at that 200 SMA, looking for that downside continuation. But what I didn't do right and what I could have done better is I should have waited for this 11,980 level right here, 11,980, 11,980. I did not wait for that level to break. If that level would have broke, I think that is where the entry would have been and the downside would have come in. That is a level that I had all mapped out early morning and was part of my trade plan, but I tried to get in a little bit too early at that 11,980, and I got stuck in a little bit of a chop here between this 12,015 and this 11,980, and that is where my trade went wrong. I got in at a great entry point, which we will review here in 1 second, but I did not wait for that downside confirmation, and the market pretty much just stayed sideways for the first hour of trading, and you'll see on Apple it pretty much stayed sideways as well. So what I could have done better here is, yes, we did get the 200 SMA rejection, but I could have said to myself, okay, let's go ahead and wait and see if this level breaks. Let's wait for that retest rejection, which you guys know I talk about all the time, but there was some type of inclination early morning for me to try to play that 200 SMA rejection, and that is where things went wrong for me. So this goes back back to just playing those levels on the futures, waiting for that demand to break before entering shorts, waiting for that supply to break before entering longs, and not playing in the middle. That is sort of what happened to me on Apple. So now let's go ahead and jump into the Apple trade and go over exactly where I got in, where I exited, and we'll go ahead and use the replay feature on TradeZella to do that live. So here's the Apple 1-minute chart, and I'm going to go ahead and break down what I was thinking here on this trade before we look at TradeZella. 143 was a major level for me today. If I zoom out and I go to this 1-hour chart, you guys will see that 143 was a major level on Apple. This was a previous high, a previous high, a previous support, and a previous support from Monday yesterday. So I was looking to see Apple is trading below 143. Can 143 turn into a rejection, and can I play that downside continuation? So zooming in on this 1-minute chart, it just so happens that right when that NASDAQ rejected the 200 SMA, I saw Apple reject 143. Right at this 937 candle, I saw the 200 SMA rejection come in on the NASDAQ, and I saw Apple rejecting this 143. That is what my plan was coming into the day. But what I did not plan for was the potential demand below that would have held that market up, which it did on the NASDAQ at that 11,980, and I did not wait for that continuation move to really set in. Now, my entry was pretty nice. My entry was right here at the 143 retest rejection. I did get a nice move in my favor. I definitely was looking to see some more continuation off that 143 rejection, but right around this low, around 142.50, this is right where the NASDAQ was holding that 11,980. So if we go back to the NASDAQ and we look at what the NASDAQ was doing at this time, you can see NASDAQ was holding that 11,980 demand, and that is where Apple was sort of maintaining that 142.50 low. So I pretty much just got chopped up here on Apple. I got in at a good point. I got some early profits. It did work against me. After seeing this thing come back down, seeing it bounce off 142.50 again, I just accepted that we were not going to get that follow through. I accepted that I should probably take this trade off, keep it small, and this is where I did do well on this trade. I kept it small. It's about a $150 loss. Nothing major, but it's a good learning lesson. Even though it's a small loss, even though it's nothing that's really that influential for my trading, it is a very good learning lesson. Wait for that confirmation. Wait for that demand to break before entering those shorts. Make sure you don't get stuck in a little bit of a chop zone early morning. I know those early morning emotions can creep in. They creep into me as well. I am human, and that is something that we have to take out of our trading. So here is TradeZella. Here is the trade details. I lost about $195 on this trade. You can see I did get in right here at that 937 candle, added a little more for that continuation, moved against me, pretty much stopped out at the exact same level that I got in. You can see I just got stuck in this chop, didn't quite get the continuation move, and it could have been an avoidable loss. I can't say that I didn't get in at a good time, but it could have been avoided. The way it could have been avoided is wait for that NASDAQ demand to break and wait to see if that downside continuation comes in. So we're going to go ahead and use the replay feature here on TradeZella. I think a really awesome feature on the platform. And you can see that white line that's running across the screen. That is the 143 level. And you're going to see what happens here at 143. You're going to see that we reject that level, and you will see that that is where I take my entry. So we'll play this, and you'll see right here on this candle coming up next, look at the rejection that's coming in. You can see that wick rejection at 143, and that is where I take my entry. Now, as we move lower, I do add to this position, looking for that break of the lows, but what you'll notice is that that NASDAQ at this time held that low. I did not break for that downside continuation, and Apple holds this low as well, moves against me, starts to chop against me, and if we continue, you will see that I start to exit this position here. I start to exit this position again, coming up momentarily. I exit here, and I just get out of the trade because at this point, I'm understanding that we're not getting that downside continuation. At this point, it's damage limitation in my head. Let me get out of this trade. It's not working in my favor. Let's take the $200 loss. Let's move on. Let's learn from it, and let's look for another setup. So guys, I hope that me outlining this loss helps you in some way, waiting for that confirmation, having those levels in the morning on the NASDAQ, showcasing how crucial watching the futures levels are and how crucial it is to wait for that trend to form. I did like my entry. I still do. I like that 200 SMA rejection, but maybe waiting a little bit longer, waiting to see if that downside demand breaks, then taking my entry could have saved me from taking this trade today, could have saved me from taking this loss. So if you guys learned something from today's video, if you did enjoy it, press that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Peace.